Imagine facing life's greatest challenges with a spirit that refuses to be defeated. A character so robust that every setback becomes a setup for a comeback, a demeanor so composed that even chaos seems to bow before it. What does it mean to possess such an unstoppable nature? Is it a relentless drive that propels us towards our goals? The quiet strength to stand firm in the face of adversity? Or perhaps a mindset crafted through the diligent work of self-mastery? Throughout history, philosophers have pondered the essence of an indomitable spirit. They've left us a legacy that transcends the boundaries of time and culture, a blueprint for building a character that can withstand the vicissitudes of life. Today, we peel back the layers of this timeless wisdom to explore the philosophical roots of character building. The very notion of character has been the subject of much debate and contemplation. The ancients believed character was a form of excellence, achievable through virtue and ethical living. It was Aristotle who spoke of virtues as means to achieve eudaimonia, a state of being that embodies the best possible life for a human. Stoics like Epictetus and Seneca taught us about the power of inner freedom and resilience, while philosophers like Nietzsche challenged us to forge our own path in the face of life's inherent meaninglessness. In our modern era, we often equate being unstoppable with success or power. But in the rich narratives of philosophy, literature, and history, being unstoppable is not about what one achieves, but rather how one persists. It's about the relentless pursuit of virtue in spite of life's inevitable trials. It's about the unwavering commitment to one's own principles in the chaos of existence. It's about the quiet, steadfast defiance against the torrent of life's challenges. But why should we care about these voices from the past? Because the challenges faced by Socrates, the doubts entertained by Marcus Aurelius, the individualism championed by Emerson, these are not so different from our own. In their struggles and their victories, we find timeless strategies for building the fortress of our character. Learning from historical figures in philosophy and literature is not a mere academic exercise. It's an act of engaging with the greatest minds who ever lived, of understanding the principles they lived by, and of applying this profound knowledge to cultivate an inner strength that remains unshaken by the ebbs and flows of fortune. By standing on the shoulders of these intellectual giants, we gain a vantage point from which to view our own lives. We learn from Nietzsche the importance of embracing life's struggles with passion. From Emerson we understand the value of self-reliance. From the Stoics we acquire the wisdom of discipline and the power of differentiating between what is in our control and what is not. As we embark on this exploration of becoming unstoppable, let's not seek mere inspiration, but transformation. Let's not just look for answers, but for the right questions. Let's not just adopt philosophies, but adapt them to the fabric of our daily lives. With each philosopher's insight, we gain a tool, a perspective, a weapon with which to carve our path through the dense forest of existence. Today, let's begin this journey together, not just to learn what it means to be unstoppable, but to take the first steps in actually becoming it. Friedrich Nietzsche stands as a colossus in the landscape of philosophical thought, casting long shadows over notions of strength, struggle, and the indomitable will. Nietzsche's exploration of the human condition was not a gentle contemplation, but a vigorous challenge to the very foundations upon which traditional morality was built. He saw the human spirit not as something to be tamed, but as a wild and powerful force to be harnessed. For Nietzsche, the concept of the will to power is central. It is not merely a thirst for dominance or a craving for authority over others. It is, at its core, a fundamental drive to reach the fullest potential of one's being. He believed that all of life is an expression of this will, a desire not just to survive but to expand, to create, to become more. Struggle, therefore, is not an obstacle to this will but a means by which it is realized and expressed. In Nietzsche's eyes, to embrace the struggle is to affirm life itself. With all its pain, suffering, and uncertainty, it is to say yes to existence, to take upon oneself the task of carving out a path through the wilderness of life. To do this, Nietzsche presents us with the concept of amor fati, love of one's fate. This love is not passive resignation, but an active embrace of all that life throws our way, the good, the bad, and the inevitably complex. It is a celebration of life's experiences as the artisan's clay, as the raw materials from which we sculpt our character. Applying this idea to our contemporary existence calls for a radical re-evaluation of our challenges. The stress of a demanding job, the pain of a personal loss, the frustration of failed plans, these are not merely trials to endure, but opportunities to assert the will to power, to reaffirm our commitment to personal growth, and to exercise our capacity for resilience. In practical terms, amor fati transforms our approach to everyday life. Instead of evading or begrudging the inevitable adversities, we can meet them head-on with a spirit of creativity and vigor. The setbacks in our personal and professional lives become moments not of lament but of potential. When a project at work collapses, instead of succumbing to defeat, we can look for the lessons in that failure, finding ways to rebuild our approach. When we face personal hardship, we can search within it for the strength we didn't know we had, to emerge not just intact but enhanced. Moreover, this philosophy has profound implications for our collective life. In a world often fractured by strife and competition, it offers an alternative vision, a society that sees struggle not as a source of division, but as a universal experience that can unite us in pursuit of greater goals. It encourages us to view the challenges of our time not as insurmountable obstacles, but as catalysts for innovation, cooperation, and progress. To live with amor fati is to live with a certain kind of optimism, an optimism not rooted in the naivety that life is without difficulty, but in the robust conviction that we have the power to weave those difficulties into the larger tapestry of our lives in meaningful and transformative ways. It is to recognize that in the crucible of challenge, we are given the chance to test our mettle, to refine our souls, and to emerge as individuals who are not only unstoppable, but unceasingly evolving. By integrating Nietzsche's teachings into our lives, we embrace a radical form of self-empowerment. We become artists of existence, authors of our fate, and architects of a character that can stand unshaken amid the storms of chance and change. This is the ultimate exercise of the will to power, not conquering for the sake of conquest, but for the profound purpose of becoming who we are meant to be. As we continue our journey through the philosophy of character, let us carry with us this Nietzschean insight, that in the tapestry of our lives, every thread of struggle is intertwined with the possibility of growth, that every moment of hardship bears the seed of an emergent strength, and that in the heart of every challenge lies the potential for an unstoppable character. In the end, Nietzsche challenges us not just to withstand the onslaught of life's struggles, but to welcome them, to greet them with a resolute smile and an open heart, to dance with them in a celebration of life's unfathomable depth and richness. This is the path to becoming unstoppable. A path not of avoidance, but of engagement, not of weakness, but of profound, unwavering strength. Ralph Waldo Emerson has left an indelible mark on the fabric of American thought through his essay Self-Reliance. With a pen dipped in the ink of individualism, Emerson crafted a treatise that echoes with the call for personal integrity and the importance of self-trust. Emerson's Self-Reliance is not merely an essay. It is a clarion call to break free from the shackles of societal expectations and to cultivate a life of personal authenticity. Emerson challenges us to look inward for guidance and to trust our own intuition above the din of external opinion. He argues that there is a divine spark within each of us, an inner voice that guides us towards our true purpose. This voice, this profound sense of self, is what we must rely on to navigate the complexities of life. To Emerson, the individual is not a mere cog in the social wheel, but a singular entity capable of extraordinary insights and boundless creativity. The heart of Emerson's philosophy lies in maintaining personal integrity. This integrity is not a rigid adherence to moral dogma, but a flexible, living principle that evolves with our understanding and experiences. It's about being true to one's own nature, even when it goes against the grain of convention. It means valuing our own perspectives, even when they stand in stark contrast to the chorus of the crowd. In our journey to become unstoppable, Emersonian self-reliance offers a roadmap. It suggests that to build an indomitable character, one must cultivate an unwavering trust in oneself. This trust is not the product of arrogance, but the offspring of deep self-awareness. It requires a relentless questioning of received wisdom, a boldness to chart our own course, and the courage to stand alone if necessary. To develop this kind of self-reliance, one must start by understanding oneself. Engaging in introspection, journaling, meditation, or any practice that fosters self-knowledge is key. It is in the quiet moments of reflection that we can hear Emerson's aboriginal self whispering its wisdom to us. It is also through the challenges we face that we can test and reinforce our trust in our own capacities. Each time we overcome an obstacle by relying on our inner resources, we strengthen our self-reliance. Furthermore, Emerson urges us to embrace our uniqueness, our quirks, and our eccentricities. The journey to becoming unstoppable is not about conforming to a mold, but about shattering it. It is about recognizing that what we have to offer cannot be replicated, for it is born of our individual experiences, insights, and creative sparks. In the modern world, where there is often a high value placed on social conformity and a fear of standing out, Emerson's words ring out as a potent reminder of the power of the individual. Self-reliance also extends to our capacity to rely on our own resources, intellectual, emotional, and material. In a society where dependency on systems, institutions, and external validations is commonplace, Emerson's philosophy prompts us to develop independence. This might involve learning new skills that allow for self-sufficiency, making decisions that are aligned with personal values rather than societal pressures, or finding contentment within oneself instead of seeking it from external accolades. However, Emerson is not advocating for a life of isolation. Instead, he envisions a community of self-reliant individuals, each bringing their unique strengths and insights to the collective table. Such a community would be unstoppable in its progress, for it would be built on the solid foundation of individuals who are true to themselves and who encourage others to do the same. In suggesting ways to apply Emerson's principles to our lives, we might start by taking small but firm steps towards self-reliance. It could be as simple as making a decision without seeking the approval of others, or as significant as taking a stand for a belief that might be unpopular. It might mean choosing a path that is less traveled but more in tune with one's deepest convictions. To walk in Emerson's footsteps on the path to becoming unstoppable is to walk in the direction of self-trust, integrity, and authenticity. It is a path that asks not for external validation, but for internal fortitude. It is a journey that calls not for the faint of heart, but for the bold in spirit. And on this path, we forge not just a character of resilience, but a life of profound meaning and unparalleled originality. As we continue to weave through the tapestry of thoughts from those who have sought to define the essence of an unstoppable character, let us take Emerson's message to heart. Let us recognize that the journey to becoming unstoppable is in fact a journey of becoming more deeply ourselves. It is in the garden of self-reliance that the flowers of our most profound achievements and our most enduring strengths bloom. Marcus Aurelius, the last of the 5 good emperors, stands as a paragon of the philosophy he practiced. Stoicism, a philosophy grounded in virtue, reason, and self-control, finds one of its highest expressions in his timeless work, Meditations. Composed as a series of personal writings and reflections, Meditations offers profound insights into the discipline of action and thought, which are as relevant today as they were in the 2nd century. At the heart of Aurelius's teachings is the principle that we have control over our minds and can be undisturbed by external events if we maintain discipline in our thinking. For Aurelius, discipline is not just an abstract virtue, but a daily practice, a way of life that anchors both action and thought. He teaches us that an unstoppable character is not one that never faces obstacles, but one that maintains composure and purpose despite them. A disciplined mind, according to Aurelius, recognizes that thoughts shape reality and that self-mastery is the highest form of power. He suggests that we must guard our thoughts with vigilance, for they have the potential to either enslave or liberate us. By adopting a disciplined approach to our thinking, we can maintain equanimity in the face of life's vicissitudes. To cultivate such discipline, Aurelius advises us to start each day by preparing for the challenges ahead, anticipating the difficulties we may encounter, and resolving to maintain our composure and virtue regardless of the circumstances. He recommends a habit of self-reflection, where we examine our actions and motives at the end of each day, learning from our mistakes and reinforcing our commitment to our principles. The practice of discipline in action, for Aurelius, is equally essential. He asserts that our actions must be purposeful and aligned with our inner values. The discipline of action involves doing the right thing, even when it is difficult, maintaining our integrity, and performing our duties with diligence and care. This kind of discipline requires us to be present in the moment, fully engaged with our tasks, and not distracted by trivialities. To build habits that support an unstoppable character, Aurelius recommends setting a clear intention for what we wish to achieve and aligning our actions with this intention. This means being deliberate in our choices, not leaving our actions to chance or whimsy. It also means being steadfast in our efforts, not swayed by immediate gratification or fleeting desires. Moreover, mental practices such as meditation and visualization can be powerful tools in developing the discipline of thought. By regularly visualizing ourselves acting with composure and purpose, we can reinforce the mental pathways that lead to disciplined action. Meditation, too, can help us cultivate a centeredness and calm that remains unshaken by external events. Aurelius's concept of synergy between thought and action is another critical aspect of building an unstoppable character. He emphasizes that thought and action are not separate. They feed into each other. Disciplined action reinforces disciplined thought and vice versa. Each good deed and each virtuous thought echoes in the chambers of the soul, building a resonance of character that can withstand the trials of life. Furthermore, Aurelius teaches us about the impermanence of external circumstances. By reminding ourselves that all is ephemeral, we can maintain perspective on our challenges and not be overwhelmed by them. This perspective instills in us a kind of mental fortitude that is untroubled by the prospect of failure or the allure of success. We become unstoppable not because we do not encounter resistance, but because our commitment to our path remains unwavering in the face of it. Discipline, as taught by Marcus Aurelius, is thus a kind of inner citadel. It is a fortress within which the character resides, unassailable by the chaos of the external world. It is the force that guides us through the storm without losing direction, the inner compass that points steadfastly towards our true north. In applying these Stoic principles to our lives, we can start by identifying the values that are most important to us and making a commitment to live by them. We can create routines that nurture our physical, mental, and emotional well-being, providing a stable foundation for disciplined thought and action. We can also seek out communities and environments that support our commitment to discipline, surrounding ourselves with reminders of the path we have chosen. As we continue to explore the philosophies that shape an unstoppable character, let us reflect on the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. Let his meditations serve as a guide for our own, and let the discipline he espoused be the bedrock upon which we build our unshakable selves. Our journey does not end here, for each philosopher's vision offers unique facets to the gem of character we seek to polish. As we weave their insights into the narrative of our own lives, we come ever closer to embodying the unstoppable spirit they championed, an enduring testament to the power of the human will when guided by wisdom, discipline, and the courage to look within. Lucius Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, statesman, and playwright, held a particularly insightful view of adversity that can dramatically shift our approach to life's inevitable challenges. His writings provide a manual for developing an unstoppable character by transforming the way we perceive and interact with hardships. Seneca's perspective on adversity is profoundly counterintuitive. He suggests that we should welcome challenges as we would a friend, for they come bearing gifts, the opportunity for growth, strength, and self-discovery. He writes, "Fire tests gold, suffering tests brave men." It is through the heat of adversity that the metal of our character is tested and our resilience is forged. The notion that challenges can be used to build a stronger character is deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. Seneca believed that life's difficulties are not merely to be endured, but to be used as tools for the building of one's inner fortress. It is through facing and overcoming obstacles that we develop the virtues of courage, patience, and endurance. To cultivate this mindset, Seneca advises us to alter our relationship with adversity. Instead of perceiving obstacles as insurmountable barriers, we can choose to see them as hurdles that are surmountable and even essential for progress. The strategy here is to reframe our perspective, to view adversity not as a detour on our life's journey, but as an integral part of the path itself. One effective way to reframe obstacles is through the practice of voluntary discomfort. By deliberately placing ourselves in challenging situations, whether it's through public speaking, physical exercise, or any activity outside our comfort zone, we inoculate ourselves against the fear of future adversity. These self-imposed challenges act as a training ground for our spirit, much like an athlete trains their body. preparing us for the larger trials that life will inevitably present. Seneca also encourages the practice of reflection in the face of adversity. When confronted with hardship, instead of reacting impulsively with frustration or despair, we can take a moment to reflect on the situation. This reflection can involve asking ourselves what virtues can be practiced in this moment, what lessons can be learned, and how we can respond in a way that aligns with our highest values. Another strategy Seneca suggests is to draw upon the wisdom of the past, to look to historical figures who have faced and overcome great challenges. By studying their lives and learning how they dealt with adversity, we can find inspiration and guidance for our own situations. This is not merely an academic exercise, but a process of drawing upon the collective human experience to find strength and wisdom. Furthermore, Seneca advocates for a deep appreciation of the transitory nature of life's troubles. By understanding that all hardships are softened by time, we can foster a sense of patience and endurance. The knowledge that adversity is not permanent can help us to maintain our composure and keep our struggles in perspective. In addition to these philosophical strategies, Seneca recommends practical actions that can help in building an unstoppable character. Cultivating a network of supportive relationships, for instance, can provide both comfort and advice when facing difficulties. Maintaining a healthy lifestyle with regular exercise and a balanced diet can also strengthen our physical resilience, which in turn supports our mental and emotional fortitude. Lastly, Seneca's thoughts on adversity remind us to focus on what adversity teaches us about our own capacities. Each challenge we overcome is a testament to our capabilities and a confirmation of our potential for growth. It's crucial to take time after each obstacle to reflect on what we have learned about ourselves, our strengths, weaknesses, and the boundless possibilities of our personal development. Through the lens of Seneca's wisdom, adversity is reimagined, not as a foe to be feared, but as a sage that challenges us to evolve. It is a powerful force that can either defeat us or lead us to greater heights, depending on our response. In the process of confronting and mastering adversity, we craft ourselves into individuals of indomitable spirit, into characters truly unstoppable. By embracing Seneca's teachings, we ensure that our journey through life is not defined by the hardships we encounter, but by the strength and grace with which we surmount them. Epictetus, born into slavery and later achieving his freedom, emerges from the annals of history as one of the most practical philosophers of antiquity. His teachings are a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and a guide to unyielding strength of character. At the core of his philosophy is the dichotomy of control, a concept that delineates the boundary between what is in our power and what is not. Epictetus, in his Enchiridion, crystallizes the essence of this concept by stating, "Some things are in our control and others not." It's a simple yet profound maxim that forms the bedrock of Stoic tranquility and effectiveness. According to Epictetus, an unstoppable character is not one that attempts to control the uncontrollable, but rather one that masters what lies within their domain, their perceptions, intentions, and actions. The importance of this philosophy in contemporary life cannot be overstated. In a world brimming with uncertainty and factors beyond our control, the dichotomy of control serves as a compass that helps us navigate through the chaos. By focusing our energy on our own actions, choices, and attitudes, we conserve our mental and emotional resources and channel them towards constructive change. For modern implementation, consider the professional who faces a sudden downturn in the market. While the market's movements remain outside their control, their response does not. They can choose to lament the unfairness of circumstance or they can focus on adapting their strategies, learning new skills, and finding creative solutions within their control. Another example is found in personal relationships. We cannot control how others behave or feel, but we can control our responses. When faced with conflict or misunderstanding, the application of Epictetus's teaching would have us look inward, managing our own emotions and reactions, thereby maintaining our composure and integrity. Furthermore, this mindset can be applied to self-improvement. While we may not have control over our innate talents, we do have control over the effort we put into developing them. The student who may not grasp a subject as quickly as peers can choose to dedicate additional study time, seek help, or discover alternative learning methods. The focus remains on the actionable steps within one's power. But how do we discern what is within our control and what is not? This discernment itself is a skill that can be honed through reflection, mindfulness, and practice. By asking ourselves whether we can change, influence, or affect the outcome of a situation, we can identify where our energies will be most effectively spent. Epictetus also reminds us that acceptance of what we cannot control is not a passive resignation, but an active engagement with reality. It is the acknowledgement that there are elements of existence that simply are as they are. This acceptance liberates us from the frustration of trying to change the unchangeable and directs us towards the fertile ground of our own agency. In the quest to become unstoppable, one might employ daily practices that reinforce this Stoic mindset. Journaling can be a powerful tool where one reflects on the day's events and identifies what was and was not within their control. Mindfulness and meditation also serve to center the mind, cultivating an awareness that can distinguish between futile worry over the uncontrollable and effective action within one's power. One might also engage in premeditatio malorum, another Stoic exercise where one anticipates potential challenges and prepares mentally for them. By envisioning difficulties, one can practice responding with equanimity and focus on what they can influence, rather than being overwhelmed by unforeseen circumstances. To further imbue one's character with the fortitude of Epictetus's teachings, it is valuable to embrace challenges as opportunities for growth. Rather than shying away from difficult situations or complaining about them, we can see them as arenas in which to exercise our control over our reactions and decisions. It is in the heat of adversity that the steel of our resolve is tested and our capacity for control is expanded. In our contemporary lives, the dichotomy of control can also be a guiding principle in goal setting and time management. By concentrating on our own efforts and setting realistic, achievable goals, we foster a sense of accomplishment and purpose. Time management becomes a reflection of our priorities, where we invest our most valuable resource, time, into what we can control and what aligns with our values and objectives. The integration of Epictetus's philosophy into our daily lives can be transformative. It can alter our relationship with failure and success, redefine our understanding of influence, and reshape our very identities. By relinquishing the illusion of control over the vast machinery of the world and honing our mastery over our own will and action, we become architects of our own fate. We become in essence unstoppable, not by ensuring that every external circumstance bends to our will, but by bending ourselves to the reality of our circumstances and wielding our will with precision and wisdom. We cannot control the wind, but we can adjust our sails. It is in this adjustment that our journey towards becoming unstoppable lies. Epictetus's lessons are deceptively simple yet infinitely deep. They call us not to a life of ease, but to one of meaningful challenge, a life where the true scope of our influence is both recognized and realized. As we continue on our path, we carry with us the Stoic wisdom that the ultimate power lies in our response to the world around us, in the steady beat of a heart that knows its own strength, and in the calm mind that finds serenity, not by staring down the storm, but by trusting in its own ability to endure it. In the light of Epictetus's enduring wisdom, we find the clarity to focus on our actions, the courage to release the uncontrollable, and the insight to understand that in this interplay between acceptance and action, the character of the unstoppable is forged. It is a journey that each of us can embark upon, a path that beckons with the promise of personal freedom and the power that comes from within. Socrates, the classical Greek philosopher, wielded his dialogues as a surgeon's scalpel, dissecting the superficial layers of societal norms to reveal the underlying truths of human existence. The Socratic method, his legacy, is a form of cooperative argumentative dialogue that stimulates critical thinking and draws out underlying presuppositions. This method was not merely pedagogical, it was a tool for the deepest kind of self-exploration and self-knowledge, which Socrates held to be the most significant pursuit of human life. Know thyself was the dictum inscribed at the temple of Apollo at Delphi, and it was a maxim that Socrates lived by and promoted fervently. He believed that understanding oneself is the key to wisdom and the foundation of a strong character. To Socrates, an unexamined life was not worth living, for it was through the process of examination that one could achieve the highest virtues and live a life of genuine happiness and fulfillment. For Socrates, self-knowledge was more than introspection. It was an understanding of one's role in the cosmos, one's limitations, strengths, desires, and above all, one's ignorance. By acknowledging our ignorance, we open the door to true knowledge. This radical self-awareness leads to self-mastery as one becomes less swayed by external influences and more guided by an understanding of one's true nature and values. The Socratic approach to self-examination involves questioning our beliefs and values, probing their origins, and testing their consistency. To become unstoppable, one must be willing to face the discomfort of challenging deeply held beliefs and the humility to admit when one is wrong. This level of self-awareness allows for the development of a character that is not only strong, but also adaptable and open to growth. Self-awareness, according to Socrates, also extends to recognizing the power of our own will and choice. It is through self-knowledge that we come to understand that we are the agents of our own lives, responsible for our decisions and actions. With this knowledge, we can align our actions with our principles, leading to a congruent and authentic life. Moreover, Socrates' pursuit of self-knowledge was intertwined with his commitment to living a virtuous life. He argued that knowledge is inherently tied to virtue, implying that the more we understand ourselves, the better we can live virtuously. Self-knowledge then becomes not only a personal asset, but a moral imperative. But how can we apply Socratic self-knowledge to become unstoppable in our contemporary lives? The Socratic method itself offers a clue. By engaging in dialogue with others who challenge our ideas, we are forced to clarify our thoughts and beliefs. This dialectic process can be applied internally as well, through journaling or meditation, where we engage in a dialogue with ourselves, questioning our motives, goals, and the alignment of our actions with our values. Another application of Socratic self-knowledge is in decision-making. With a clear understanding of our values and principles, we can make choices that are not only effective but also reflect who we are at our core. This coherence between values and action grants us the confidence and resolve to move through life's obstacles with a steady hand. In the modern era, where constant stimulation and external validation can cloud our self-perception, the Socratic emphasis on self-knowledge is more relevant than ever. It calls us to turn inward, away from the noise, and to seek the truth of our being. It invites us to cultivate a relationship with ourselves, to become intimate with our thoughts, feelings, and desires. The pursuit of self-knowledge also serves as a compass in times of uncertainty. When we are sure of who we are and what we stand for, we can navigate life's complexities with a sense of purpose and direction. This internal compass is what makes a person unstoppable, not because they never face challenges, but because they are unwavering in their sense of self through those challenges. In essence, the power of self-knowledge as advocated by Socrates is the power to live deliberately and authentically. It is the recognition that the wellspring of an unstoppable character is not found in external accolades or achievements, but in the quiet depths of introspective wisdom. It is here, in the sanctum of self, that we cultivate the strength, the clarity, and the conviction to live life on our own terms, unassailable in our journey towards the highest expressions of human potential. Socrates' contribution to the concept of an unstoppable character lies in the profound understanding that the pursuit of self-knowledge is the most important journey a person can undertake. It is a journey that does not end with mere reflection, but extends into every facet of living, demanding a consistency of thought, word, and deed that is the hallmark of a life well lived and a character truly unstoppable. The journey to cultivating an unstoppable character is not a sprint. It is a marathon without a finish line, a continuous process of growth, challenge, and reflection. Each philosopher and author we've discussed offers unique insights that contribute to the tapestry of an indomitable spirit. From Nietzsche's fiery proclamation to embrace life's struggles with amor fati, to Emerson's resolute call for self-reliance, each provides a thread in the fabric of character. Nietzsche challenges us to not only accept our fates, but to love them, to see each moment of adversity as a step towards the summit of our personal excellence. Emerson, with equal vigor, champions the cause of individualism, nudging us towards the strength that comes from trusting in our inner voice and moral compass. Marcus Aurelius, with his Meditations, provides a Stoic blueprint for discipline in both action and thought, instilling in us the serenity that comes from self-control and purposeful living. Epictetus, his philosophical kin, arms us with the dichotomy of control, teaching us to invest our energies wisely into that which we can influence while cultivating acceptance for what lies beyond our grasp. Seneca's contemplations on adversity offer a reframing of life's trials, urging us to transform obstacles into opportunities for growth and to recognize that true progress often comes dressed in the garb of misfortune. Socrates, the archetype of the philosophical life, summons us to the rigorous and rewarding task of self-examination, the cornerstone of personal development and virtuous living. Each of these great minds contributes to a holistic view of character building, one that acknowledges the complexities and contradictions inherent in the human condition. They remind us that developing an unstoppable character is an ever-evolving endeavor, one that requires patience, persistence, and a hearty appetite for life's vast array of experiences. As we draw this exploration to a close, let us not see it as an ending but as a call to action. The wisdom of these philosophers and authors is not meant to be passively consumed, but actively engaged with. It is an invitation to incorporate their teachings into the fabric of our daily lives, to test their principles against the measure of our personal experiences, and to mold their insights into tools that serve our unique purposes. We are urged to embrace the philosophical practice, not as an academic exercise, but as a living, breathing part of our existence. To question like Socrates, to endure like Seneca, to discipline our thoughts and actions like Marcus Aurelius, to focus our energies like Epictetus, to love our fate like Nietzsche, and to trust ourselves like Emerson. In conclusion, the creation of an unstoppable character is an art form where life itself is the canvas and our actions the brushstrokes. It is a pursuit that is intensely personal yet universally resonant, a commitment that is challenging yet profoundly rewarding. As we venture forth, let us carry the wisdom of these timeless thinkers, not as burdens, but as lanterns in the dark, guiding us towards our own inner light. And so, I invite you, the viewer, to step into the arena of your life with these teachings as your armor and your guide. Reflect upon them, challenge them, apply them, and in doing so, forge the unyielding character that is uniquely yours. Make the conscious choice to grow, to evolve, to expand your potential. And in this lifelong endeavor, may you find not only the strength to overcome, but the joy in the journey of becoming truly unstoppable.